Hey there, I'm driving and you're watching a video, so that must mean that's right, it's time for Drive Time Real Estate. I'm coming back from the largest city in the state of Michigan, Detroit, and just came from the first ever cross-border international Realtor YPN event. This was an event that sprang out of a conversation at the National Association of Realtors Conference last fall in Orlando, where I enthusiastically proclaimed that we ought to do an international event. Well, thankfully, a couple of recently made, at that point, friends from Canada were there to agree with that assessment, that being Natasha Lemire-Blair and Amy Ferris, and from there it was born. In March, we took off, started working on putting together a committee to make it happen, and what a committee we did put together. What a great group of people pulled all this together. I won't go into all the names, but we had a fantastic group working hard to make this reality, and yesterday in Detroit, we had a panel of speakers from both sides of the border, three people from each side, one realtor, one lender, one attorney or title person. Talking about what was the same, what was different in real estate as you went from one side of the border to the other. Really a lot of similarities. A couple of the key differences are really have to do with financing and the fact that the Canadian government or the Canadian financing system is a good bit more conservative than the U.S. So if you are a U.S. citizen buying in Canada, you're going to have to get your loan from a Canadian bank and expect that you're going to have some down payment money. If you're a Canadian citizen buying in the U.S., you're going to have to use a U.S. bank, and you're going to have available to you many of the reduced down payment options that are available to others buying in the U.S. So there are a number of other small changes, but really this was not only a learning event, but a networking event, an opportunity for us to get together with our peers in other markets. Canada is the number one international market or source of international buyers of real estate in the U.S. So it made sense to get involved in that regard. We share so many miles of border, and we expect that this was a big enough success. We're going to try to continue to do these, including working on having an event in Buffalo in the near future, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, most likely Niagara Falls, Canada, in the very near future. So look for that. And as is often the case in a learning and networking event, we capped the day off with some cocktails together with old friends and new. And some of us were fortunate enough to stay around long enough to actually meet Mr. Detroit. Yes, he is a real person. I suggest you Google Mr. Detroit. We, just a few of us, did have the luxury of meeting the gentleman last night. And speaking of Detroit, I had the chance to talk to some new friends and some older friends, and actually get face-to-face with a guy that I've known for a while, mostly online, Kamal Cheeks. Now, Kamal is a real estate agent in the Detroit city, does both brokerage, sales, as well as property management, and a lot of his business has been property management over the last couple of years. He has seen some increase in sales as well. But as I got thinking about it, we talked about it, we got really energized about the future direction of the city of Detroit. And as excited as I am for young people entering the real estate business now, because what's happening demographically and in the markets, and I just think it's a fantastic opportunity in so many markets across the U.S. I look at people like Kamal, people like Embry Webb. I think about people like my friend Austin Black in the Detroit area that are investing in a community before it goes through its latest rebirth, and my hat is absolutely off to them. Having a strong community breeds a strong economy. Having people that want to live in an area means that they spend money in stores, and you attract more businesses to the area, and you've got children to go to the schools, and when you've got children in the schools, there's more money in the schools, and when there's schools get better, then more people want to live there, and so this cycle continues, and communities are built or are rebuilt. So I think that there are enough people that are passionate and care enough about the city of Detroit that we will see that rebirth, and that some of these people are going to be at the forefront of that, watching not only their own personal business grow, but their city grow, and I look forward to it. It would be a great thing for the entire state of Michigan to see Detroit regain its stance as an economic driving force. Michigan has one of the highest home ownership rates in the country, even still today. And that isn't because everybody in the state owned a home. It's because of the economic driving force that was Detroit in the automobile industry that allowed the average guy to have a home and then have a cottage or a place and a second home somewhere else in the state. So we've got a great foundation in entrepreneurial drive, in industry, in business, and in home ownership. And I look forward to great things coming out of Detroit and seeing that spread, that benefit of that spread throughout the state. So it was a fantastic conference. I encourage any and all that are paying attention to this to, if you're a young realtor, get involved with the Realtor Young Professionals Network. Type it into Google, Realtor YPN, or go to Facebook and type in Realtor YPN. There's a fantastic Facebook group in which there are referrals pushed back and forth on a daily basis between members. So it's a great group to engage with. It's a great group to get face-to-face with, and I hope you do that.